Hello everybody, welcome to another update on the stock screener. Today we are going to talk about Verde Agritech. I know that the financials are out, they were okay, and next week we will have a conference call, so you can submit your questions and see what they are going to update next week. Now I wanted to talk about an exit strategy. When should we sell Verde Agritech? It's also a very important question. So you can see that this stock keeps on rising. We had some sort of a correction here, probably trying to get a bottom, and then it will probably rise again. Now, when are we going to sell? That's a very important question. And there's a very easy answer on that. Very easy. You sell when it's overvalued, and you keep it when it's undervalued. So where are we in the valuations? Market cap is 320. Potash price is 1,200. And we have a PE of 6.5, which is fair value right now. At current production, with only one plant, that will probably go to 3 million tons by end of next year. So that would give you more than a double here by next year. So probably this guidance will come out somewhere later this year. Current guidance is 1.4 million, but I think that will rise above 2 million. So there's still a lot of upside based on, of course, the current potash price. Now we need to look at the sensitivity analysis because the potash price is extremely important to calculate the valuation. So let's say potash rises to 1,500. Then you get this scenario, 300 to 1.8 billion. So that's a six-fold by next year. Okay. But if you have a potash price only at 800, you get a very different scenario. Then it's only maybe a double. So 50% upside by next year. Of course, if you hold long enough, then we still have plenty of upside to 1 billion in a couple of years. Let's take 500. Then you have a completely different scenario. Then we are actually overvalued right now based on the current oil price, oil costs. Probably we will then go down if the potash price goes to 500. And you can see here, these are the valuations from 2030 and 2035, still very high at 2 billion. But yeah, you need to wait 10 years then to get to the 1 billion, 2 billion valuation. If you can wait 10 years, that's no problem. But investors are really short-sighted, so this is probably going to go down if potash goes to 500 or even 250. Who knows? If it goes to 250, this company is bankrupt. Okay? Then the valuations go to below zero at the current oil price. So everything depends on the potash price. So it's crucial to be able to predict the potash price. So how are we going to do that? We need to analyze how the potash price is impacted. So potash, that's fertilizer, is correlated to food prices. So watch the food prices. It will give you a good indication. Also watch the weekly ammonium prices, potash prices. So you can see that the current price is still rising. This is diammonium phosphate, which is above 1000 right now. So everything is still looking good price-wise. And you need to understand the process of production of the three fertilizers. So you have the N, you have the P, and you have the K. So the N is the nitrogen, the phosphate, and the potassium, which is the K. And as you look here, you can see that natural gas is used for the N, for the ammonium nitrate and the UAN. And yeah, you get here the ammonia. Same here, phosphate rock also needs ammonia at some point, which is derived from natural gas. So these two need natural gas. And that's where this correlation comes from. You have natural gas prices. When it spikes, then ammonia will also spike. And therefore, the nitrogen and the phosphates will also rise in price. And you can see that there's a lag. So there's a lag between natural gas prices and the ammonia prices. So it's crucial to check the natural gas price. When this spikes, then ammonia will spike. You can see here, this spikes first, and then ammonia spikes. So this is a very good leading indicator. Watch the natural gas price. Now, potash, you can see here, potash doesn't use natural gas. So you could say maybe there is no correlation, but that's wrong because something happened right now. So what farmers are doing right now is they are switching from corn to soybeans. Why are they doing this? So this is the NPK, and you can see here, corn needs nitrogen, while soybeans don't need nitrogen because soybeans can create their own plant available nitrogen themselves via bacteria. So you don't need to add the N for soybeans. So farmers are now using actually more potash than nitrogen. So they are switching from corn to soybeans. And what does this do? This will increase the price of potash compared to the nitrogen fertilizers. So here you can see that soybeans are planted more now than corn. And on this chart, you can see that ammonia rises first, and then potash rises later on. And that's the shift that I'm talking about here. So they are shifting from ammonia to potash. So this rises first, then they shift, and then potash rises. Ammonia rises first, then potash rises. So actually, when you look at ammonia, ammonia is the leading indicator for potash, which means that natural gas is the absolute leading indicator for potash. And you will get probably 3-4 months of lead time there. So we can perfectly predict what the potash price is going to do just by looking at natural gas. Okay. Now, how do we predict the natural gas price? Because then you get an even bigger edge. If you can predict the natural gas price, you can just predict immediately what potash will do. Now, currently we are in a very interesting situation where Europe has very high natural gas prices. So this is US dollar per million BTU. And Europe needs a lot of needs a very high price to power their companies with this natural gas price. But in the USA, it's multiple times lower. It's at 5 only. So there's this gap, and I expect that this gap will be filled. US natural gas will rise, and this will probably rise even more due to the Russia problems. So I think we are going to see much higher natural gas prices, especially in USA, because this gap will be filled. USA is going to sell their natural gas LNG to Europe in the future, and this gap will close. Also, take a look at uranium. Okay, uranium is a leading indicator for natural gas. So this spike comes first, and then the natural gas spike comes later. So what is uranium doing right now? Uranium is rising. So you can be sure that natural gas will also follow uranium. The peak is not in yet of uranium. So watch for the peak in uranium, and then you will know what natural gas will do. Okay, this is probably going to go to 100, so it is not over yet. This trend has just started to go up. And last but not least, look at the seasonality. For natural gas, we are now in April, so there is no problem at all. Natural gas prices will rise until June, and then you can still get out. So all in all, I think that the natural gas market is going to improve in price. That will lead to an increase in ammonia through this process. While ammonia goes up, farmers will switch to soybeans, use more potash, and that means that potash will rise a few months later. Okay, so everything is looking good. I expect higher potash prices, and that will translate in higher Verde price. So that was the update. Think about this exit strategy. Check uranium, check food, check natural gas, check ammonia prices, and then you will be fine because you can predict the future. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye.